a warm welcome to Pallikudam Global Connect 12. This weekly program was conceived by Rajagiri Media as a platform for experts in various areas to interact with stakeholders in education. We dealt with several interesting topics in our previous events, such as gender sensitivity, innovative tools for online education, nutrition and health in times of pandemic, importance of endurance and fitness for students, defining and assessing career aptitude in students, and STEM learning through play beyond classroom, and many more. Those who missed it can see them on our Pallikudam Facebook page and YouTube channel. APJ Abdul Kalam has said that one book is equal to 100 good friends, but one good friend is equal to a library. This underscores the importance of gaining knowledge and wisdom and also building good social relationships. Libraries are not just a collection of books and magazines, but they are our cultural treasures wherever they are set up in a school, college, or a panchayat. Libraries have been part of the cultural landscape of a region. However, libraries cannot remain immune from the dynamic changes in society and technological advancements. With online learning and pandemic, book lovers could not gain access to libraries for most of the time in the last 18 months. Now, thanks to technological tools, virtual library spaces can be created that enables access to books from anywhere in the world. Today, we are fortunate to have Mr. S.L. Faisal, librarian at Kendriya Vidyalaya, Trivandrum, to enlighten us on the topic creating a virtual library space using free web tools. He's a winner of National Teachers Award 2021 and National ICT Awardee 2017. I extend a warm welcome to Mr. S.L. Faisal. I request all participants to mute your audio and raise questions in the chat box or wait till the presentation is over for the question and answer session. This event is also being streamed live on Facebook. Participants may also use the comments box to raise questions. On behalf of all of you, I extend a warm welcome to Mr. S.L. Faisal and invite him to start his presentation.
Thank you. Good evening to everyone. I am indeed very happy to be here among this august audience. I am sure that most of the audience are coming under the area of a school librarianship, and most of them are school librarians itself. So basically this topic, we have selected this topic which is connected with the pandemic remote learning environment. This topic is related to how we can provide services and resources during the remote learning environment. So a lot of tools are available, and I have selected some tools which will help the librarians or library educators to provide resources and services to the users, particularly students and teachers. So these are some suggested tools. I'm sure that most of the librarians who are here already know about these tools, but this particular session is basically intended for the people, those who are not coming under this modern technology and tool area. So those who are interested, particularly teachers and educators, library educators, they can experiment with some of these tools and gain knowledge about how to use these tools in their normal teaching and learning process. So let me share the screen first. I hope this screen is visible to everyone. So
Yes, sir,
the topic of our session is creating a virtual library space using free web tools. As we already know that a number of tools are available, particularly web-based tools, which we can customize and use for different purposes. And basically during this pandemic period, we came across a number of tools which teachers are now using very effectively. So I have selected some tools which will help the librarians, those who are here or those who are watching live on Facebook or YouTube, so they can experiment with and use in their library spaces. So this is the outline of our presentation. First, we will discuss about library as a third place. So what does it mean? Then a little bit about virtual library space. Then what are the tools to create a virtual library space? We have identified some tools which will be effectively used in library services and resource sharing. So the first one will be the creation and organization of resources. Then second one, creating connections and reaching out. Then third one, engaging users. So we will discuss about some tools which are useful for these three areas: creation, then organization of resources, and creating connections and engaging users. So what does it mean when you think about library as a third space? As all of us know that libraries are very much important, and it is also known as the heart of the school or the institution where it is. Normally, a person who is going to the school is having two basic locations where he is surviving. The first one is home. The second one is the school or the workplace, as you know that. And by the very nature, the libraries offer people a third place. As you know that the first place is home, and second place is workplace, and third place is the library, where they can come to explore, imagine, think, learn, play, and reflect. So normally what the school librarians of modern era, they are experimenting with a lot of tools and technologies, or they are creating wonderful physical spaces where students can come, they can create things, they can share their ideas, they can learn, play, and reflect. So this is a term coined by Michael Habib. So you will get the reference at the end of this presentation. Okay, so this third place is where people will come, create, they will imagine, they will think, learn, play, and reflect. So here you can see a diagram where the Academic Library 2.0 concept model is given. So you can see two spaces are there. The first one is physical space and second one is virtual space. You can see in the middle, okay, it is divided. Then here you can see the social space, social places, academic places, and libraries. When you think about physical spaces and think about social places, you can see dorms, parties, and where it can be home or any other area. Then when you think about academic places, it will be classrooms and office hours, whether it is an institution or something else. When you think about libraries, you can see the physical space inside the library, reading room, computer labs, or the facilities which are available along with the library. When you think about virtual space, you can see, and for a general public, virtual space will be a social networking and instant messaging applications, cell phones, blogs, etc. For example, we are using Facebook, then WhatsApp, and a number of varieties of cell phones we are using, smartphones. When you think about academic places, you can see registration software. That is a virtual backbone of this academic institution. Okay, so website will be there, registration software, and learning management systems, and many other things will come. When you think about libraries, you can see the virtual space will be the virtual area that we have been creating. It may consist of instant messaging applications, virtual references, blogs, wikis, OPACs, a lot of virtual things. So you can see there are two different areas, physical space and virtual space. And we will discuss about this virtual space or the virtual library concept. As all of you know that digital library, the difference between a digital library or virtual library. So you can see a digital library is a system where a digital computing environment is there and storage of digital materials, then communication or sharing of these digital materials using a particular software. And the content will be born digital or digitized. And it is a localized or place-based collections. For example, if you are having IIT Chennai or IIT Kharagpur is having a digital collection, so this collection is created by that particular institute using their own resources. It may be born digital or digitized. And these resources will be shared through a network, internal network or internet, or maybe through their website. So, but the digital materials are born at a particular place. So it means it is a place-based collection, which will be shared with others. When you think about virtual library, you can see networks, its cloud areas, then accessible by internet. There is no physical boundary. When you think about virtual library is actually, it's not exist in real life. So it is on virtual, it's on cloud. So you can think about networks. Networks means internet or cloud-based systems where no physical boundary is there. Then collection, it may be a collection of links, data, and it will be of different formats, multi-formatted information. So you can see the basic difference between a digital library collection and a virtual library concept. So both concepts are in some way it's very much related, but basically a digital library is a library which consists of digital or digitized content, which will be shared through a network or maybe internet or some other network infrastructure using a software. But in the case of virtual library, the resource may be here or there. Okay, it is a global resource pool from where you are collecting resources and you are organizing materials or collecting links, data in different formats, which is not existed in real life. And you are sharing the resources, you are organizing and sharing it. So what is the present condition? As you know that this is an emergency remote teaching environment that we have been going through. It's a very difficult time anyway. The transition, we faced a lot of challenges during this transition period. It was a sudden break from our normal learning. So you can see that it's a temporary shift of instructional delivery due to crisis circumstances. Okay, so it was just a temporary shift from the normal routine learning environment. It's a rapid approach that is unable to make full use of quality online learning design approaches. As you know that for complete online learning environment, we need learning management systems. Just like a lot of learning management systems are paid and open sources, softwares are there. Okay, including Moodle and many other systems. So using that systems, you can very effectively or very efficiently do a learning management environment where everything will be online. In some, as you know that a lot of online courses are conducted by different agencies, including government agencies. They are using these online digital learning platforms. But what we have faced in schools and colleges is a sudden approach where we are just simply shifted from a routine physical environment to an online environment. It's a temporary shift. To cope up with all these challenges, we have just changed our system learning environment to emergency remote teaching or learning, as you know that. So where the teacher is collecting resources or teaching online using some applications or video conferencing softwares, just like that. So we are going through this emergency remote teaching environment. Creating a virtual library space, how we can create? Okay, using free web tools, a virtual library space where, as you know that I have told you that these three elements we have to check out. That first is the creation and organization of resources. As librarians, we know that what is the purpose of a library. So we have to find out the resources which are useful for the users, particularly if you are working in an academic library, you have to find out resources, curriculum-based or non-scholastic resources which are useful for your users, basically the students and the teacher community. So you have to create some resources, just like you have to create some content, plus you have to organize the resources. That is the first thing that you have to do. Second one is creating connections. When you are on a virtual library environment, you have to create connections. In a physical library environment, the students will come to your library and you can connect with them physically, and you can share the resources and reaching out to your customers. You can connect with your parents, you can connect through PTA and many other things. But in the case of virtual library space, you have to use some tools to connect with these users. Then the third one is that if you are working in a school library or college library, you have to engage your users. As you know that the traditional concept about the library is just like a space where things are there, resources are there, physical resources are there, and the students or users will come there and use it. It's completely changed now. So the resources are maybe inside the library or outside the library. So you have to create the resources, organize the virtual or online content. Then you have to share it through creating connections and other reaching out mechanisms. Then you have to engage users. When your library is not active or dynamic, it is dead. That I feel. So if your library is not engaging your users, the library is stagnant, it is not working. So in that case, you have to engage through different activities your users. So what we can do when we are having this virtual learning environment, where only we are not physically not connecting with the users. So what are the tools? I am giving you some suggestions, which all these suggestions, these are only suggestions, there are hundreds of other tools, and these tools you can use to connect or engage or create content or engage users. The first one, when we think about creation and organization of resources, the first thing we have to do is that need assessment. So what is the purpose for whom we are creating the content? So we have to think about the users. Who are the users? The students or teachers or the outside community. Then what is their need during these difficult times? How they are looking for resources. So what is their basic resources? What are they looking for? So we have to find out what is their need using a need assessment planning. Then we have to map the resources, okay, where it will be available and how we can procure it. Okay, so what are the different formats available? Then we have to complete the plan from where we can access all these resources. The next thing we have to do is that creating content. In some cases, just like a library is not a place where just you are only curating the content. You have to create content also. In some cases, for example, if your student, if your user is giving some input, okay, some project or assignments or some, it may be a book review or anything. So the things or the information is created in the library also. If you are having a debate session in your library, some ideas will be generated. That is also you are creating something. And then you have to find the right resources from where you will get. Okay, as you know that right resources, right time to the right user. It's the main motto of the library. So we have to find out the right resources, and as you know that information literacy tools and technologies and many things are there. Okay, so we have to find out the correct resources or the right resources or the genuine resources, then verify it. Okay, then check it whether it is the right or wrong, whether you can depend on, whether you can trust upon. Then if you are getting all these right resources, then you have to organize it. Okay, these are the steps we have to think about when you are creating any physical resources, and the same case when you are thinking about a virtual resources also, the creation and organization. First, you have to think about need assessment, second, resource mapping, then creating content, then finding right resources, then organizing all these resources. I'm suggesting some tools. The first one is to create content, you can use a blog. Okay, as you know that our session is based on free tools only. So I have selected this WordPress. So as you know that WordPress is an open source content management environment or system or software. And if you don't have enough money to purchase this software, or in case you download and purchase a domain to install this software as a content management system and run your website, so you can think about free versions, these blogs. Okay, so this blogging platform will give you a lot of interesting ideas where you can create an interface. You can create your library's portal using a blog environment. As you know that hundreds of libraries are using this particular platform, and some are using other platforms just like Blogspot and other blogging platforms. But I am suggesting the WordPress platform since this is open and a lot of customization options are also available. And if you can spend some time on it, you can learn it very easily. So a lot of tools and technologies are connected with, a lot of plugins are available. So you can create a lot of free templates are also available. So you can create wonderful blogs for your library using this platform, that is WordPress. The second one I am suggesting, the most of the librarians here, they are using this Wakelet platform. So you know that we have discussed about creating content, then organizing content, curating resources. As you know that in a virtual library environment, you have to find out resources from internet, what are the things available online. So this is a particular tool. It's a very useful tool also, where you can very easily create digital collections. For example, if you are having a display, in earlier times, we are having a physical display of things or books related to any event or any special day in our library. For example, National Library Week or Gandhi Jayanti, we will have special displays on Mahatma Gandhi. Okay, in such cases, using this Wakelet, you can create wonderful collections of on different themes. Okay, theme-based collections you can create. So it's a very easy tool. You have to just log in and use it. Okay, you can create your own library profile using this Wakelet. So we have created, many libraries are now having this Wakelet profiles where we are running our virtual libraries also. So on different topics, on different categories, you can create collections. And these collections can be of different formats also. That's a wonderful thing about this one. So it can be, you can include websites, you can include text, you can include images, you can include audios, videos, or whatever things. So you can very easily include YouTube videos and many other things, which will be very much attractive. Okay, which will attract your users towards your library. On a virtual library environment, you are creating these wonderful resources and you are sharing it. So it can be very easily shared using different platforms on Facebook, on your website, on WhatsApp, or whatever things you are using to connect with your users. You can share this Wakelet created, these digital connections. So I suggest this one, this web tool to curate resources or organize digital resources for your virtual library environment. The third one is, when we think about other formats, we have to think about these audio formats also. So how to curate audio? Okay, a lot of tools are available, but I am suggesting this one because this website, the SoundCloud platform, already consists a number of carefully selected audio tracks, which you can easily create playlist, from which you can create playlist which can be shared with your users. So you can create playlist on great speeches, you can create playlist on stories, you can create playlist on different interviews, anything are there. I suggest this tool to create these audios, the broadcasting materials. Okay, because as you know that nowadays many students are not ready to read things; they like to listen things. Okay, rather they like to listen things using their earphones or. Okay, so in such cases, you can create a wonderful playlist or wonderful audio collections using this platform. There is an option to upload your own audio also on this platform. So anyway, there are other options are available, other free options are also there, but I am suggesting this one because it already consists of a number of tracks which will be useful for your users. Particularly if you are working in a school environment, you can create playlist on a number of stories, interviews, and speeches. So this will be very much easily shared with your users. So I am suggesting this platform, SoundCloud. So that was about creating and organizing resources. The second thing, when we want to connect with the users, how to reach out. Okay, creating connections and reaching out. In this case also, when we are creating a virtual library environment, we have to first identify the user preferences. Okay, what are their preferences? Which platform they are using? At what time they are visiting all these platforms? How they are connected? So is they are having their devices to connect with these platforms. Okay, first you have to identify the user preferences. Okay, whether they are using some social networking websites, they are using or instant messaging applications just like Google Messenger or WhatsApp, etc. Then if they are using Facebook or Twitter, how many of your users are using Facebook or how many are okay with Twitter? Then you have to select platforms for your library. So to create the virtual library environment, you have to select some connecting platforms. So these platforms will give you the reach, give you the strength to reach out to the users where they are. Okay, your user may be somewhere else. Okay, maybe somewhere else in the state or in the country or outside the country. But using these platforms, you can reach out to the users. Then the next thing you have to find out after selecting or after identifying the user preferences, then selecting the platform, you have to find out what you are going to publish. Okay, so you have to check out who are the users, for what purpose you have created this platform, then what are the things they are expecting from your library, and what are the things you want to update regularly or update in a weekly basis or on a monthly basis. So all these things you have to identify. You have to have a plan for this section. Okay, when you are creating connections or reaching out using these platforms, you must have a plan. Then the fourth one is updating. As you know that if you are not updating any of these platforms, it means that it is dead. So after creating this platform, if you are leaving everything aside and you are just going with your own things, it doesn't work. So first you identify, select, then publish content, then update it regular. Okay, a regular updation should be there whenever you are using a virtual platform where you want to connect with your users. So here are, as you know, that these are the most popular tools and free options. Okay, so here I am suggesting one tool which some of you may not be familiar with. That is one landing page tool. We have many of the librarians have customized this tool for their libraries, where you can create a mobile interface for your library. As you know that during these difficult times, most of the parents or most of the most of the students are using their mobile phones to access the resources, not their laptops. They may not have the laptops or desktops at their home, and they could purchase some mobile phones or smartphones to access their online classes. So how we can reach these users who are using this online resources? Okay, those who are using these mobile resources, using their mobiles to access online classes, how we can reach out? So I am suggesting.
I request all the participants to mute, please.
Yeah, at the end we can discuss the matters. Anyway, yeah, I am suggesting this tool Linktree. Okay, it's a free tool. Paid version is also there. I am suggesting this a free option, which is basically it's a business purpose tool, just like creating landing pages to bypass the restrictions put out by Facebook and Instagram. But anyway, we can customize this tool for our library to reach out the users who are using their mobile phones to access online classes. So you can very easily create mobile interfaces using this Linktree tool. Okay, so this is the first tool that I am suggesting to you. How to do all these things, that requires a different session. You can find out number of videos of number of sessions conducted by School Library Association and many other organizations on these tools. So another tool, which is the social networking tool, that is Facebook. Okay, as you know that Facebook, how we can use Facebook. Normally we are having all of us are having this Facebook account. But how to create a Facebook page for our library and how to update it, what are the contents required, how we can update it, okay, what are the resources we have to put it on Facebook, and how we can reach out, how we can connect using the Facebook Messenger and many other things that we have to learn. So this is the second web tool that I am suggesting you. Since it's for the time being it's free, then you can use it. You can very easily create a Facebook page for your library, okay, using this Facebook platform. So you know how to create a Facebook page for your library. And the main thing is that whenever you are creating a social networking page for your library, the content should be live and content should be dynamic and there must be updates. Okay, otherwise it's dead. The second tool I am suggesting is that Twitter. As you know that Twitter, all students are okay with Facebook, but some of them are also okay with Twitter. This is basically a microblogging website, as you know that. Okay, so you can create a Twitter account for your library where you can very easily update, quick updates you can do. You can just, since it's a microblogging website, you can quick update, just like if you have a new arrival at your library. Okay, in your library, you are having a new collection of books. You can just take out some cover page images and post it on your Twitter account, which will be followed by your users. Basically, when you are dealing with school libraries, you can't find out so much followers for your Twitter account. But anyway, if you are working in other libraries, college or university libraries, you can find out number of users, those who are okay with Twitter, those who are using. So you have to publicize all these things also. If you are having this Linktree account or Facebook and Twitter, you have to publicize all these things, and you have to share the information about how to connect with all these interfaces. Just like if you're having a Twitter account, there will be followers. Whatever things you are updating on your Facebook or blog, it can be also integrated with your Twitter account, which will be easily you can update. So a lot of options are there. So another suggested tool is YouTube. As you know, that's a wonderful video sharing website and most popular. Millions of videos are there on this YouTube. So for your library, you have to create a YouTube channel. Okay, I'm suggesting to create a YouTube channel for your library also. Nowadays, as you know that during this pandemic, most of the schools have created their own YouTube channels. But anyway, I'm suggesting this tool for your library also. So you can create your library YouTube channel. Okay. So where you can upload a number of videos. For example, it may be a book talk by your user. It may be some events happened in your library, maybe another visit or some sessions on cybersecurity or career guidance, whatever things which happened in your library, you can record it. Nowadays, many of the schools, they are live streaming all these programs. So it can automatically add it on your YouTube channel. So YouTube is a wonderful tool where you can very easily create a channel and you can live stream, and along with that you can upload a number of videos which could be shared with your users using different platforms, which can be shared on your Facebook, Twitter, or with WhatsApp and many other, even Google Classroom also you can share your YouTube videos. So this is the fourth tool I am suggesting to connect with your users. So all these 4 tools you can create for your library. All these tools are free also. So you must have a plan how to create, okay, for what purpose you are creating, and who are the audience and what type of contents they are looking for. Then it will be very efficiently, it will be a very efficient component of your virtual library environment. Then the last one, that is engaging users. How you can engage users. So you know that school library is about engagement. If activities are not there, there is no school library. In some cases, in college libraries also, you can find out a number of activities they have been conducting using different platforms. So particularly, I'm just stressing upon school library environment. So you can find out a number of tools which you can use to engage your users. The first thing, you have to identify that what are the interactive platforms available. When you are going to create a virtual library environment, first you have to identify the platforms available online. Okay, whether it is paid or free, and what are the facilities or features available. Then how we can do some reading engagement. Particularly school and college libraries are mainly intended to develop reading skills also. So you have to identify some tools which will increase or develop reading comprehension skills. Okay, how you can engage your users, engage your readers using these platforms. Then collaboration and sharing. As you know that engagement is not a one-way process. So you have to connect with your users, you have to collaborate, you have to create things through this collaboration. So there must be some collaborative elements in these platforms where you can collaborate with your teachers, with your students, and you can share things with your users also. Then there must be some options to upload user-generated content. Okay, when you are engaging your users will also upload things, users will also share their ideas. So they will put their comments or suggestions or things. So all these elements must be there when you are going to engage users. The platform must be interactive. Okay, there must be some reading engagement elements, and there must be options for collaboration and sharing. Then there must be options to upload user-generated content. So I am suggesting some tools. These are all free tools or web-based tools which you can use to connect with your users and engage. Okay, the first one is Padlet. Padlet is a virtual bulletin board tool where you can create free options, and the free option you can find out at least 4 Padlets you can create using the free option. The Padlets, as you know, that's a virtual bulletin boards where you can engage your users to write something about the books they have done or movies they have watched or the discussions they have done or anything they can upload. So it can be something just like a book review, it can be something related to their reading experience, it can be on a book talk or anything. So you can engage them. You can give an assignment using this Padlet where you can ask your students to input things or upload things, images, videos, etc. etc. So it's basically a virtual bulletin board platform. Okay, it's normally used by teachers for different teaching learning purposes. But anyway, it can be customized for libraries to create your virtual library environment where there are no other options, only use these virtual tools to engage your users. So you can engage by giving these inputs, just like you can ask them to write something or upload something. Okay, then you can give their marks or you can evaluate their content, etc. And others can also interact, or others can also see what their friends are uploading. Okay, so this is the first platform I am suggesting you to use to create a virtual library environment. The second one is, as you know, that school libraries are basically the academic libraries also looking for increasing their reading abilities, okay, reading or information literacy skills. So ReadWorks is a free platform. There are some paid platforms are also there, okay, just like Get It and many other paid platforms are there. And another wonderful platform that is CommonLit. CommonLit is a platform, but it's only available for some US and European countries, but on request you will get access to that also. But anyway, I'm suggesting this ReadWorks, which is a wonderful platform where you can increase the vocabulary and comprehension skills. It's a reading comprehension instruction platform where a number of articles are there or stories are there inside this platform. Then you can assign these stories or articles to your students where they will read it, and after that they can engage with the questions also. Okay, there will be questions to identify how they read. Okay, then to increase your comprehension skills. Comprehension skill development questions or instruction questions will be there. So at the end of reading a particular article or story, they have to attend these questions, which will be shared with you on your dashboard. Okay, they could also identify how many marks they scored, okay, on a particular assignment, and you can also identify how many students attempted your assignment, how they scored, okay, how they performed. All these things will be there. This is a free platform which any teacher can use. Okay, educator options are there that you can use this platform, ReadWorks. So try to do this one also to engage your learners. This is to engage your learners only, because when you are using a Google Classroom, so you can integrate your Google Classroom with ReadWorks, then you can give assignments on your Google Classroom through this ReadWorks and engage your users. The second one is Flipgrid. As you know that this is a video discussion platform. So different purposes are there for this platform, but this is a fairly secure platform. Okay, so by Microsoft itself. So you can devise your own things, just like if you want to have a book talk by students, so competition is there. Okay, so you can send this video link, Flipgrid link to them, where they can easily, using Flipgrid app or directly on their desktop, they can access this website and they can add their content. So video discussion means it can be some discussion on a particular topic. Okay, you can assign a topic where you can ask your students to give their ideas, okay, their views. So these are all video options or video discussion. Okay, video discussion elements will be there. So here I have just created one karaoke using this Flipgrid platform, that at the end of this presentation I have given the link. You can also visit that. Since it's a protected environment, so you can assign to who okay you want to share all these things. So because since these are all videos by students, so the students, this community will only access all this content. So it is the privacy settings you can do, and you can make it public also using some other options. So Flipgrid is unique tool where you can create video discussions on different topics and book discussions, or through that you can engage your users. The another one is Book Creator. Book Creator, as you know that we are using digital books, as you know that ebooks we are creating many software, many websites are there where they will allow you to create ebooks using different templates. Okay, this is a wonderful tool, Book Creator. It's for digital book creation tool. Okay, so you have to just log in, educate logins are there, you have to log in, then create content, create books, wonderful books you can create. These are interactive ebooks. You can include audio, video, and many other things, text. Okay, so you can include YouTube videos, you can upload your own videos, audio files, podcast, many other things you can include. And wonderful templates are there, beautiful templates are available. And you can invite your students to create books. Okay, you can assign a particular topic and you can tell them to create a 5-page or 6-page book using their login option to create a book. Okay, it's a wonderful activity where children will enjoy. So this is also, you can, if you want to create your school magazine or want to create some other class magazines or any other, that also you can create. Normally what we are doing, we are creating a PDF and converting it into a flip format, okay, just like for digital reading. But this Book Creator tool will give you wonderful templates and other options which you can make your this digital book very interactive. Okay, so when you are reading something, you can listen to that author, you can listen to the video, so that these are the options available with Book Creator. So another one, if you are a school librarian, you must know about Storyweaver. It's a tool, okay, created. It's a tool, you can say that's an engaging tool. It's a digital repository of engaging multilingual stories. Okay, so wonderful stories are there in different languages, and you can engage your students using all these stories. Okay, there may be questions at the end of each stories, and you can assign them. Now, CBSE has launched one reading mission using this platform. This is also free. So these are the tools. These are the suggested tools only. I'm suggesting these tools only. You can explore and find out more other tools which are useful to engage your learners. But when you are using all these things, the above said tools to create your virtual library, so you can very easily create a virtual library environment where you can create content, organize content, then you can connect with your users using different platforms and engage your users also. So these are the three things we can do with these free tools. Okay, so that was about tools. Then how we can keep going. Okay, just like as any tool, when we are using any tool, you can see that we must get some feedback from the users. So seek feedback from users and reflect. Okay, so ask your students, ask your users, ask your teachers, okay, whether this platform is okay, whether they are getting the right resources, whether it is easy, whether it is friendly to access. Okay, so all these things you can ask your users whether they are engaging. Okay, then reflect. Then second thing we have to do is that update with relevant and useful content. Always update with dynamic, relevant and useful content. Then along with that, what you have to do, widen your professional learning network, because during this pandemic and earlier, and thousands of librarians or thousands of educators, they are using different tools. Hundreds of tools they have been using around the globe. So we have to understand, we have to identify the tools they are using. We have to learn things so that we have to develop our professional learning network. So we have to join different associations, just like School Library Association, many other associations are there. And then connect with your such educators groups, okay, from different countries to understand, to learn things, learn about the things they have been using. Okay, then you can grow yourself. Then connect, share and grow. So you have to connect with all these people. Then share things, whatever things you are using, share with others. Then they will identify this one, they will think about this one, and there may be some new ideas or new inputs from them also. So whatever things, whatever tools you are using, so whatever ideas you are creating or you are generating, try to share with others also, like-minded people. Then we can grow together. Then these are the references that I have made here. 2 references. Then these are the URLs of the cited web tools. So I will share this presentation with you. Then you can see this one. Okay. So these are the cited examples, links to the cited examples. Yes. So I would like to stop my presentation here. Yes.
Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Let's move on to the interactive session. Participants can now ask questions directly or post them on the chat box. So we have one question here. What type of content we can put on FB, Twitter, or WordPress?
Yes, it's both this Facebook, Twitter. These are all, as you know, that these are social network. Okay, just like Facebook is a social networking tool, and Twitter is a microblogging tool. Okay, so as you know that we must understand about the reach of Facebook first. Okay, how they are using, how they are connecting. As you know that most of the people, they are now connected with connected on Facebook, and some identifiable amount of people are connected on Twitter also. So first you think about the audience, okay, about the users, how they are using all this network. Okay, and if you are creating a Facebook page or Twitter page for your library, okay, it is better to put dynamic content. Just like if you are having some new books in your library, immediately you can share the things, share the information on your Facebook page, because it will reach immediately. At once it will reach the users. So there is no time lag. Okay. So for example, if you are putting some activity or some videos you are sharing with your users, so according to the need of the users, you have to identify the resources. Okay. And whatever things happens in your library, just like maybe an exhibition, it may be an event or anything, that also you have to share. Okay. So just have a plan how to share and the time period, time duration. Okay. For example, you can fix a time, just like on every day, morning 10 to 11, I will share these things on Facebook or Twitter. Okay. Otherwise, you can at once, if you get some new resources or something, new ideas or new web links, that also you can share on Facebook and Twitter. There is no limitation, but you have to identify whether the resource is genuine or correct. Okay, whether the links you have been sharing with your users are right or wrong, whether it will be useful for the users. Okay, first check the links, whether it is not broken or whether it is working, whether it is useful for the customers. Okay, then you can share all these things. Then regarding this WordPress, just like WordPress is just like a content publishing platform. Okay, it can be just like for your library's website, you can create the content. Okay, you can create your library website on WordPress. Just like a blog, you can create a website where you can put everything which is related to your library. It can be just like resources, services. For example, if somebody is searching your library on internet, they will first land upon your blog. Okay, on WordPress blog, whatever things you are doing. So it must be an interface to your library. It must be a window. It must be a portal to your library, resources and services. So I am suggesting that you must create a basic blog, okay, where it must be just like the basic thing. On that, you can create all other connections. First, you have to create a blog, or there must be a website or blog. Okay, so it will be your landing page of the library. Okay, from where you can create different connections or different links to different sites or website on Facebook or Twitter, whatever it will be.
Thank you, sir, for that.
Yeah.
Our next question is it share chapters of a book or pages or review?
Whether if you are a book, in the sense that if you are sharing textbooks, there is no problem, because CBSE or NCERT, they have already allowed to share textbook chapters. But in the case of other publishers, just like you have to check, because copyright violation may be there. Okay, so you have to check whether they are allowing it or not. Okay, because many people, they are saving all these very good books or very costly books in their Google Drives, and they like to share with the users. It is illegal. Okay, we are doing this copyright violation. So I am suggesting not to do that. Okay, and if you want to do, then take permission from the publisher first. and if they are allowing, then you can share this. Otherwise, it's not possible, and on legal opinion is that you will be punished. Okay.
Thank you, sir, for that. Next question is RaidWorks free?
RaidWorks free. It's free. Yeah. So you can log in. You are using your educator's login, or otherwise you can using your Google login. You can log in and you can engage your students. Okay. So you can add your students' Google accounts with the RaidWorks, or you can integrate your Google accounts on your classrooms. So many of we are using Google Classrooms. So you can integrate your Google Classroom students account with RaidWorks, where you can easily assign these articles or stories with them. Okay. Then they will do this assignment and you will get their complete idea what they are doing, how they are learning, up to what point they have learned or read. Okay, it's a wonderful tool. Just to try to do that. It's free.
Thank you, sir, for that. Next question is, as per you, which tool is more effective?
As per? Pardon?
As per you, which tool is more effective?
So basically this for creating a virtual library environment, you have to do all these things. Okay, I'm not suggesting a single tool because different tools are having different purposes. Okay, you can't do connection. You can't connect using a WordPress blog with your users just like you are connecting on Facebook. Okay, so the first one that you have to create content and organize things. For that, the first section tools that we have discussed that you can use to connect with your users, that you have to share. For sharing, different tools are there, just like Facebook, Twitter, and maybe YouTube, or just like Linktree. Okay, you can create mobile interfaces. And for engaging, you have to use another tool. So you can have a mix of all these tools. I am not suggesting a single tool. You can select your own tool from all these tools. Then you can create your own plate where you can put all these tools. 3 or 4 tools you can select. But first think about the purpose. For what purpose you are selecting all these tools. Okay, then you can do that.
Thank you, sir, for that. In a school, how many admins will be required to manage the virtual library?
It depends basically. If you are having a single librarian, most of the schools are having single librarians there. So they only have this access. Okay. So if you are having 2 or 3 librarians, you can assign them. You can collaborate with all these librarians, and you can, for example, one can manage the WordPress blog, one can do with Wakelet, one can do with Facebook. Okay, so one can do some engagement activities, etc., etc. So it depends on the number of librarians there in your system. Okay, if it is normally most of the schools are having single librarians there, so one single access point is required. Yeah. Yes.
Okay, sir. Now the next question is, you told about digital and virtual library. What is an electronic library then? Is it a mixture of both?
Electronic in the sense that it's a combined term. For example, it will become electronic. The electronic materials or electronic things, okay, which we are using to do all these things. Just like it is the virtual and this digital everything will come under electronic library. It's a general term basically. When you are thinking about digital library, you are thinking about digital resources and how you can share in these digital resources with users. Virtual library is an environment where the physical library is not there. These virtual resources from different sources, maybe most of them will be from different online sources on internet. Okay. Electronic library, which is a combined collection of all these things. So you can say it's general term basically, as you know that. Yes.
Thank you, sir, for that. We have another question here. WordPress or Blogger, which is more user-friendly for backends?
If you don't know anything about blogging, you can start with Blogger. Okay, because it's a little bit easy to do. Okay, and it's given by Google. So simple tools are there. Okay, so you can easily go with Blogger. But if you know something about how to do all these things, okay, a little bit technical knowledge you have, then you can go with the WordPress. because WordPress is a free platform. It's an open source platform, but Blogger is a paid platform. Paid in the sense that it's by Google. Okay, there may be advertisements and many other things will come along with Blogger. But when you are taking WordPress, you can download that also if you're having this domain access, or you can pay for the space. You can download this software and install in your server. But I am suggesting this WordPress free platform where you will get a 3 GB space also. So if you know a little bit how to do all these things, you go with WordPress, okay, because it's a very much user-friendly and customizable. A lot of tools and things are there which you can integrate with, and you can create beautiful website like blogs for your library. And updates are wonderful. Every day they're having new updates on WordPress. Yes.
Thank you, sir, for that. Next question is, can students share their own ideas and creations like stories and poems using Book Creator?
Yes, definitely. Because the Book Creator platform will give you an idea how to create a digital book. Okay. So many of our librarians are now using this Book Creator platform where you can create different pages. Okay, Book Creator is a software-like tool. Okay, where you can create different pages. Okay, where you can include audio, include video, text, and different color pages. A lot of things you can include. So your students can also do that. Okay, you can assign them to do create a book on a particular topic. Just like otherwise, they can create their own book using this digital platform. That is also possible. So collaboration is also possible on Book Creator, where all your students' digital books can be combined and which can be shared with others also. A lot of options are there with this Book Creator.
Thank you, sir, for that. Next question is, to access Facebook page, do students need to have an account?
Students, it is not mandatory, because when you are accessing Facebook page, okay, just like if you don't have this Facebook account and you're accessing your Facebook page, you can see that. But there will be a bar under that in which the Facebook will ask you to log in. Again and again they will ask. That's the main thing. Otherwise, you can just click on the link, Facebook page link, and visit that Facebook page. But if they don't have this account, the Facebook will attract them or tell them to start an account or log in, etc. But that will be a bar under this page. Otherwise, you can see there is no issue. Because as you know that there is an age limitation to join Facebook. Okay, so but anyway, that is possible. But if you are 13 years is now given as the age limit to start a Facebook profile. If class 8 or 9 students can, I'm not suggesting everybody must have this Facebook account, but how we can reach the users. Not only students are using Facebook, but their parents are also using, and outside community they are also using Facebook. So we can reach their parents. If the students are not using or accessing it, we can reach through our Facebook page. We can connect the parents also. Yeah. Yes.
Thank you, sir, for that. The next question is, any legal restrictions for adding study materials in blog or any social media?
Study materials in the sense that if it is freely available and the publishers are ready to give it freely, then there is no problem. But you can't, for example, if you are getting some login, if you are subscribing some study materials from a publisher and you are downloading and you are uploading the same study material on your blog, it is illegal. It is not possible, because it is paid. Okay, it's not legal. So first you have to get permission from the publisher who is publishing the study material. Okay, then with the permission only you can upload it. Otherwise, tell them, or otherwise ask them if you want to publish it on your blog or website. The main idea is that if you want to if you want to share a study material from a publisher with your students, okay, first check whether it is freely available online. Some publishers, they are putting everything free, okay, on their websites and many other things. In such cases, there is no legal issue because it's already available there. And then there is no need to download the material from there and upload on your blog. Okay, you can just give a link, you can hyperlink on your blog that these materials are available there. You can redirect your user to that particular website. That is possible. In such case, there is no legal issue because it's already available there. But if it is a paid one, and if you want to upload the same on your website, first you have to take permission from the publisher. Otherwise, it will be a violation.
Thank you, sir, for that. The next question is Kindle useful for school?
Yes, it is just like an experiment. You can do that because in my library also we have started one Kindle e-reading corner. Okay, e-reading hub we have started. Basically, as you know that many students, those who are not so much eager to read books, physical books, but flip through the pages on a device. Okay, in some cases, for example, to attract these type of students, you can use Kindle in your libraries. And the wonderful thing is that most of the books you can download from different online websites. There may be paid books, but also free books are thousands of free books are available on Project Gutenberg and many other free websites, free digital library websites you can download. From these websites, you can download a number of thousands of books which can be kept in an e-reader that will be shared with your students. Okay, in the case, for example, if your library is having 10 or 15 Kindle e-readers, okay, there may be boys and girls. And some boys or some girls, they may not be interested in reading physical books, but they will do it using their devices, using these devices. So to attract such students, you can use Kindle as an experiment in your life. But nowadays, most of the students, they are having their own devices. Now it is not so much relevant whether you are not using the Kindle or not, but because they are using their mobiles or smartphones to access all these things, okay, and they can read also. So now it is Kindle. The information is now device independent, so anybody can access information using any device. Okay, that is the present condition. I am not sure that what will happen in future, but I am sure that we have to allow students to use all these devices in future also to access the resources, because they are now okay, they are now ready to use all these devices. Yes.
Thank you, sir, for that. Next question is for WordPress. How much we have to pay?
For a free version, there is no need to pay anything. Okay, so you will get a WordPress blog account, because WordPress is having two options. Okay, one is WordPress.org and another one is WordPress.com. Okay, if you are selecting, if you have enough money to have a domain name and have a server, you can download this content management software WordPress from WordPress.org and install that software in your system, in your server, then run a website. In such cases, there is no need to put money for downloading the software. Okay, the money is for maintaining your domain and your server. But in the case of WordPress.com, where you are just freely creating blogs, there is no need to put any money. Okay, so you can freely use this because this platform is on WordPress, or your URL will have this subdomain name .wordpress.com, and they are giving 3 GB space. Everything will be on WordPress. You are using their platform. Simply, you are using their platform only. No need to pay anything. Yes.
Thank you, sir, for that. Next question is, what are good platform for access the free academic resource for grade 1 to 12 students?
Platform, just like we have to identify these platforms, because a number of platforms are nowadays there, paid and free platforms are there. But the thing is that you have to just go and visit these platforms. Okay, platforms in the sense that a number of websites are providing all these materials, particularly academic materials. A number of institutions, corporates, and now many are there on this field because it's a lucrative business area now. Okay, number of institutions are doing all these things. So first we have to go and visit their website and identify the material, and we have to download it, or in a trial versions we can have these versions and check with your teachers whether it is okay for your students, etc. Then identify whether it's of good quality and other things, then you can suggest for that. To identify these things, there is no other option. First you have to visit their website and explore it. There is not a single list where you can depend on all these things. You can just use that list to find out all these things. It is your concern that how you are using it.
Thank you, sir, for that. There's one more question here. Sir, can you show the WordPress, ReadWorks, and Facebook page now?
WordPress, ReadWorks, and Facebook pages. Yeah. 1 second. Can you see this?
Yes, sir. We can see.
Yeah, this is my WordPress blog. Okay, where it was created in the year 2007. Okay, since then I have been updating this WordPress blog with a lot of content. So as I told you that this can be a landing page for your library. Okay, so if somebody is visiting your library virtually, so they can first land upon this page, from where you can redirect them to different sources. For example, from here you can go to my virtual library collection. It is made up on this Wakelet platform. Okay, on the right side you can see interactives, favorite books, or projects and other things, etc. E-magazine, karaoke is there, audio library is there, then YouTube channel is there, then Facebook page is there, a lot of other things are there. Okay, this mobile library interface. So what I am suggesting is that when you are creating a WordPress blog, so you can include everything which you want to show to your users. Okay, this will be, for example, here you can see quick links are there. So from here, when they click on this link, they can land upon different pages, okay, on this blog. For example, competitive exams, homeworks and assignments, library statistics, new book alerts, many things will be there. So these are the different categories available on our blog. Download section is there, from where they can download a lot of question papers and study materials and many other things. YouTube channel is also linked. So you can include a lot of things here, including audio, video, images, galleries, and many other things. This is the blog that I have created using this WordPress platform. This is my landing page, okay, for the library, from where anyone can go to different websites. So next question was about WordPress and what else? Facebook page.
Yes, sir. Please.
So this is my library's Facebook page. See this one, I told you that when you are visiting, if you are not logged in, you will get this bar under this page. Okay, see more of library Kendriya Vidyalaya Patham on Facebook, login, create new account. This will always be there. Otherwise, you can see all other contents which are available on this platform. Okay, this is a poster. It was posted on 25th September. Okay, a Sunday movie which was screened for our children using this mobile platform. Then some articles I have shared with our students. There was a webinar on mindfulness for children, which was also posted on our Facebook page. Some articles on different activities which are happened or which are happening in the library, films and other things, webinars and collection. This is a digital collection that I have created on Hindi stories. Okay, it's a collection of Hindi stories. Here another collection of Roald Dahl. Okay. So whatever things, this is a post on our one short film created by our own students. Okay, there was a trailer, then competitions and many other things. So all these things you can update on your Facebook page. On the right side, you can see how many people are following, etc., etc. Okay, hours and your phone number can be given. Okay, where the students can interact with you. On the left side, you can see about events, photos, videos, reviews, etc., etc. The videos you have uploaded, photos you have added, all these things you can find out from this. Another one, it was about ReadWorks. When you are visiting this ReadWorks, You can find out this website here, readworks.org. It required another session to complete all these things. Okay, anyway, this is the website. Okay, here you can see ReadWorks is driven by cognitive science research, free content, curriculum, and tools to power teaching and learning from kindergarten to 12th grade. How many students have joined this ReadWorks community? You can see educators, schools, states, etc., etc. Okay, this is the website. It's free. You can sign up. A lot of things are there inside. Just go and sign up. Okay, this is the website. So you can, student login is there. Students will also get a login option. Okay, and you can use your teacher login to enter into the website and do all these things and share content with your teachers, means with your students. Yeah. Yes.
Thank you, sir, for that. There's one more question here. Is there any organization which offer digital library service for schools?
Digital library service in the sense that digital library, National Digital Library is there. It's by Government of India, National Digital Library, NDLI. Okay, National Digital Library of India. It's a wonderful website. Okay, digital library things will be there. A lot of content is there. Lot of stories, books, okay, on different topics, different subject areas. Videos are there, audiobooks are there, okay, and lecture sessions are there. Then academic inputs, many things are there. Just to visit NDLI, okay, to find out what are the things which the NDLI is providing. So along with that, you can visit some other online digital library websites are also there. Okay. That you have to just Google with the digital library, online digital library websites. Then you can identify, you can find out at least 10 websites which are providing all these services, the digital library services. Yes.
Thank you, sir, for that. Do we have any more questions? We have now got a fair idea of how managing digital libraries and how to use several free tools available to engage students and teachers in the library system. Also, we also learned the use of social media for an educational purpose. Like generally, teachers don't recommend social media exposure for students, and it is heartening to note that it can be effectively used in library. Libraries store the energy that fuels the imagination. They open up windows to the world and inspire us to explore and achieve and contribute to improving our quality of life, says Sydney Sheldon. Let's conclude today's session by keeping this in mind. We are grateful to Mr. S.L. Faisal for the insights that he has shared. I thank all the participants for being with us. Thank you all once again and have a nice evening.
Thank you, Pallikudam, for inviting me for this session, and thank you, Nancy Matthew, for wonderfully coordinating these things. Thank you. Thanks a lot.